going to be showing you Belle, which is going to be the second installment in my Little Beauty and the Beast series. Yesterday I did Beast. If you did miss that one, I will put a link to it in the description box below, as well as a place where if you would love to purchase this whole set of nails as a necklace where they're all hanging down as little charms, which I absolutely love. I think they're adorable. There's a link to that in the description box as well, so go there if you are interested, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
So here we are, we're going to begin with a pale nude color and sculpt her face, neck, and chest. And if you are curious about the lack of background color instruction, I only included that in the Beast video just because I figured it would be incredibly repetitious to do it in all of them. So if you are wanting to look at that background color and how it applied, then I will direct you to watch that video if you have not yet seen it. So now for our Belle, she has a heart-shaped face, which is where we're going to begin, and then continue her neck down. One thing to keep in mind when you're working on something like this, and the reason that I always start with face shape, I shouldn't say always because I'm sure there's exceptions to every rule, but why I try to start with a face shape is because in most circumstances, the face of whatever it is that you're sculpting, human, animal, etc., is the focus. And you want to make sure that you don't accidentally cut off her face. Whereas if you started at her bodice, maybe you started at her waist and then you work your way up and you don't have room for her face. Whereas, because I know I'm not going to get to her waist just with, face size and how the placement goes. But if you start with the most important element, and then you work your way and kind of build out and around from that, then you know that you have enough room for what you definitely need to have in the design. And eventually get to the point where you can just see where everything should be placed anyways, and it's not as critical to do it in that sense, but it just becomes habit, and sometimes you don't want to break those habits because they're just a good kind of rhythm and it just is part of your process. So that is why I always like to start with a face shape in this type of design, and it just always seems to yield the best results. So once I have that basic face shape done and it's in place, then I'm going to go through, and I've been working on her body so far, and I'm going to be sculpting up her body basically as if she were nude right now. And the reason I do that is because then I can go through later and I can dress her, and that leaves it so that what's underneath those shapes are there, so that it makes it just look that much more realistic. Now I'm going to add her dress. This is where I said I'm going to dress her with a shimmery yellow color. And this is one of the colors I actually used in mixing that background color. And so it really goes well with the background color. It's more vibrant of a color, but it's got some of the same glitter in it, and it just looks so cohesive, and I absolutely love it. Once I have that richer yellow color done for the bodice of her dress, I'm going to be adding the sleeves with a pale shade of yellow. So I'm going to take that acrylic, kind of stretch it out, and then use the tip of my brush to create sort of a ruffly, almost wrinkled, draped pattern in that yellow acrylic. Repeat for the other side, kind of bring that out and around, almost like you're sculpting a flower petal, kind of, and then you just sort of tuck it in and fold it around. Once that is complete and you have all of that done, then you can start working on her hair. So the hair color that I use is a brown, and for this particular design, it's actually one of the same colors that I used on Beast. I purposefully chose a color that has a little bit of a glitter shimmer color in it, and the reason for that is because whenever you're doing something that's hair, and it's not so critical for Beast besides the fact that I wanted some of the colors to be the same just to tie the whole set together, but the reason intentionally for Belle that's a decent choice is that when you're doing hair itself has its own natural shimmer to it. It has a shine. It's very, almost luminous, depending on, hopefully that's the goal, right? So if you give when you're sculpting hair, if you use a color that has a shimmer or a glitter in it, it looks rich, it looks alive, it looks healthy, and it just gives it a little bit more life. And this design is not lacking in the glitter department anyway. We got a glitter background. She's wearing a glitter dress, so why not give her glittery hair anyhow? And so after I've got the top of her hair done, I'm going to be doing kind of the part that's going behind her off to the side, and then her bun. And then after I've got the bun done, I'm going to outline it with the skinniest little line of pastel yellow. And then she's got the twists that frame her face. So after we have everything that's kind of the background area of the hair done, then you can go through and add the foreground area of the hair, which is going to be those twists that have more dimension, have more shape, and are more prominent. So we're going to go through and sort of just drape those along the sides of her face. You may notice that I have a little bit of staining happening on my lighter shade of acrylic just around the side of her face right there from where that hair was draped. That's okay. It'll just end up looking like shading lighter. It's not a huge deal, and it'll all get cleaned up eventually. So I'm not terribly worried about it. It's something that I do try to avoid, but to an extent, some of that is almost inevitable. So once we have all of that done and you have all of those shapes sculpted in, then you can do some more shaping to her face and sculpt some more facial features if you would like. This part here from here on out is completely optional. I mean, everything so far. I mean, you know, you can alter things however fits your style, but for this particular stuff, I would say this bit of sculpting is less critical in general. And I'm going to cover up some of that staining with some more of my background color, or some more of her face color. But I did sculpt in her nose, and I'm going to take a peachy mauve nude color, and I'm going to be sculpting in her lips. But like I said, if you are more comfortable painting these details in, absolutely go for it. Paint them in instead. I do some details in acrylic, and I've been doing some in paint. That's been kind of my go-to rhythm these days. And so for me, I'm going to sculpt the lips with pink, and her lips are parted, so some of her teeth will show. I'm not going to sculpt in the teeth. I will leave that for my acrylic paint when I get to that stage. I'm also going to sculpt the base of her eyes right now, which for some reason I think looks so strange just because she has such prominent eyelashes and those really big brown eyes. And so just having the plain white lines of her eyes, I think just gives her sort of a spooky look. So just, yeah, bear with me until we get that fixed, huh? So now we're going to be doing the smaller details with acrylic paint. You can, if you'd like to, add some more details to her hair with a slightly different shade of brown just to kind of give it a lighter, different hue, almost like highlighting her hair if you'd like. You can bring out the color in the little bit of yellow around her bun and then add some highlighting on her dress. All of this stuff is just gravy on top. If you want to do it, it does look beautiful. If you decide not to, it's not really going to hurt anything either. So it's completely up to your discretion. I am going to do some outlines around her dress with brown instead of black, just so it's not quite as harsh. And most of the outlines on her are going to be brown. The only places really to do black outlines specifically is for her lash line, her pupils, and then if you want to, you can add a little bit of black either into your brown or on its own for her eyebrows, so her eyebrows look a little bit more prominent. Eyebrows are a very important part of a facial, facial painting. They just really complete everything. So if you want to make those black just so that everything looks a little bit more layered and defined, you certainly can. But now with my brown paint, I added some details to her chest. I added a little bit of outlining on her nose, her jawline, the lower lash line I'm going to do with brown, and then I'm going to do that same brown color for the iris in her eyes. Looks even creepier now, you guys. Just wait till she gets eyelashes. It's so much better then. I'm going to take a little bit of a red and I'm going to add some more depth to her lips just to kind of start them out with, and then we'll get to the teeth in a moment. But now that we're going to go through to the black, this is where she really seems to look like a human. We're going to give her her lash line and her pupils. And then when she gets eyebrows, it really all settles into place. We're going to give her those lash lines first, just to sort of get the frame of the eyes done. And then after you have those, then you can go through and do her pupils. Already she's looking a lot more human, at least to me. And then after we have that done, then you can go through and do the eyelashes. And each step you get, if you're, if at any point you're doing a design like this and you feel discouraged because you don't think it looks right, my recommendation is to just keep plodding ahead. Like I said, I thought she looked very peculiar when she just had white eyes or when she just had the iris and no pupil. I thought it looked so strange. And it's one of those things you just have to trust the process and just keep moving forward, because eventually when you get all the details in there, all of a sudden she looks like she's supposed to. And it's such a rewarding experience then, especially if you go from, oh my goodness, how is this ever going to turn out? So with some white, I'm going to add a little bit in her lips for her teeth. And then we're going to just kind of fix that up because it looked a little bit like too much teeth, just a little too much teeth. So take some of your red and add that, a white highlight in her eyes, and then just a couple little white highlights here and there on her dress, especially on the lighter yellow portion. Once that's complete, then you can apply a layer of gel sealer over the background and cure it so that those sparkles really show, and then apply a layer of matte top coat over Miss Belle, and this nail is done. Come back tomorrow and I will put links to all of these 3 videos that are yet to be uploadable, 4 with the necklace video that's going to be coming on Tuesday. But we're going to be doing all of these, and here is the necklace all put together. So Chip and the rose will be on Tuesday's video, and then this whole necklace will be completely done, and it is for sale in my online store. It is first come, first serve, so whoever gets there first gets to take it home with them or gets it sent to them, however you want to look at that. But otherwise, I love this. I hope you guys love it too, and I'll see you next time. Bye!